In ancient Athens, Daedalus, a master craftsman, creates wondrous statues, but his pride leads him to betray his nephew, Talus. Fleeing justice in Crete, he designs a maze for King Minos, imprisoning the fearsome Minotaur. Desiring freedom, Daedalus and his son Icarus craft wings to escape. But Icarus, driven by youthful caprice and captivated by the sun, falls when its heat melts his wings. The myth of Daedalus and Icarus is a tale of ambition and a stark warning against the perils of hubris. There are many characters within the story, each playing a separate role. So, how do the characters in this tale reflect different roles and purposes in storytelling? Let's find out. In today's video, we will be learning about primary, secondary, and tertiary characters, and previewing our final myth, Perseus and Medusa. Before the curtain rises on our final mythic chapter, let's revisit the echoing sorrow of Icarus's flight. Through his fall, we're invited to explore the depth of character roles in this ancient narrative. Now, we've learned about protagonists, antagonists, and supporting characters, but this is only one way to define character roles. Another broad way to categorize characters is to put them in three groups: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Let's take a closer look. Primary characters are the main characters in stories. They appear in many or most scenes throughout the narrative, and they will likely grow and change as the story develops along a character arc that mirrors the narrative arc of the story. Looking back at Daedalus and Icarus, which characters stand out as being primary characters? I think it's safe to say that our title character, Daedalus, is a primary character. The main narrative arc is about his story, both his successes and his failures. Keep in mind, while this myth has one primary character, stories often have more than one character who changes and grows along the narrative arc. The tale, however, is that of Daedalus. And while Daedalus holds the spotlight, who stands just outside its beam? Secondary characters are recurring characters in the story, but they are not as important or as prevalent as the primary characters. They may change during the story, but their main function is to play a supporting role in moving the narrative arc and character arcs of the primary characters. So, let's think about our myth. Which characters serve an important narrative role but don't change during the story? The other title character, Icarus, is a great example of a secondary character. The narrative focuses on Daedalus' talents, mistakes, and attempts to escape the wrath of King Minos. Icarus' tragic flight is an important part of the story, but it's more an extension of Daedalus' narrative arc that has a standalone element. Bearing this in mind, let's delve deeper into characters who play fleeting but fundamental roles in our story. The final category is tertiary characters. These characters may only appear once or twice, but they serve a specific purpose in the narrative. Almost always, they will not grow or change. Which characters from the myth could be considered tertiary? Can you think of more than one example? Daedalus' talented nephew, Talus, is an excellent example. The purpose of his character was to show the faults of Daedalus. Another tertiary character would be that of King Minos. Although his decisions influenced Daedalus' actions, especially in constructing the labyrinth and Daedalus' subsequent confinement, King Minos doesn't have a detailed character arc in this particular myth. He's more of a background force that sets the primary narrative in motion. Now that we've ventured through the layers of characters in the tale of Daedalus and Icarus, let's journey on to our final mythic realm, one filled with divine intervention and a hero's daring pursuit. Prepare to encounter Perseus, a demigod and a hero of unparalleled bravery. Tasked with a seemingly impossible mission, he confronts Medusa, the snake-haired gorgon whose gaze turns all who look upon her to stone. But with the help of the gods and some ingenious tools, Perseus embarks on this perilous quest, revealing lessons on wit, fate, and the power of resilience. Moreover, we'll explore the recurring theme of destiny and choices. Just as Icarus's hubris led to his downfall, the tale of Perseus and Medusa prompts us to ask, are our fates preordained, or can we carve out our destinies? As you reach the end of this final tale, I want you to reflect on these questions. What choices does our protagonist make that affect his fate? And are there any choices that other characters could make to change their outcome? As Perseus battles against the odds and challenges his very fate, let his story remind us of the incredible depth of characters and narratives within myths. These stories weave together entertainment with profound reflections on our own human nature. So, let these tales inspire grand thoughts, ignite your imagination, and encourage deep thoughts. And remember to always be clever.
Hey.